The Animal Crossing series has hundreds of different animal villagers, as its name would imply. And with all these different characters, everyone's bound to have their own favorites. So, because it's been very highly requested, I'm taking it into my own hands to crown the king or queen of every Animal Crossing species. Now, this should go without saying, but please remember that this is incredibly subjective. Like, there are really no wrong choices here. So just because I don't choose one of your favorite animals doesn't mean I think they're terrible or think your opinion is wrong or anything like that. So, without further ado, let's begin. Starting us off, we have Alfonso the alligator. Alfonso's a pretty basic looking guy, but you gotta appreciate the Nintendo style he's rocking. Well, he's not wearing the same shirt in New Horizons, but that's besides the point. I also find it amusing that his face appears to be in a constant state of worry. Moving on to anteaters, we have Olaf. Not gonna lie, I'm not really a fan of any of the anteaters in Animal Crossing, but you know, Olaf's a fancy guy, gotta give credit where credit's due. Following Olaf, we have Beardo. This needs no explanation. His name is Beardo, guys. Find me a better name in the history of Animal Crossing. Oh, that's right, you're physically incapable of doing so. Coming up next, we have Midge the bird. Now, I've actually only had Midge in my town once from what I can remember, but I'm a huge fan of her design. Her eyes, her color scheme, the Dreamcast logos on her cheeks, it's all just great. After Midge, we come to Angus the bull. I mean, I probably would have chosen him for his name pun alone, but the fact that he's also wearing a fire shirt, yep, king right here. We now come to the cat section. Now, there's a lot of cats in Animal Crossing, and a lot of them are just incredible. This was probably the hardest species to choose an animal for. But, after much consideration, I had to go with my boy, Punchy. Look at the smugness displayed on his face. That's something you gotta appreciate. For chickens, I ended up going with Egbert. Funnily enough, I don't have much of a reason for choosing him. I don't even think he's been in my town before, but I just felt oddly compelled to go with him. Hot take right now, there are no cows with good designs in Animal Crossing. Like, none. I was wondering why I couldn't immediately think of a good contender for this species, and it's because every animal in it is either ugly or forgettable or both. I chose Norma just because I had to. As far as cubs go, you can't really get better than Stitches. Sure, I suppose he's considered to be the basic choice, but there's a reason why he's so beloved. He has a great and lovable design, just like a real teddy bear. Moving on from Stitches, we have Fauna the deer. Fauna's design is kinda basic, but she has a super friendly face, and it felt like she was the only sensible choice. It was incredibly easy for me to choose the best dog in Animal Crossing. It obviously has to be Marcel. Just kidding, Marcel is the worst animal to ever exist, and he should be thrown into the deepest, darkest pits of the underworld until Doomslayer can come finish the job. What I meant to say is that Bones is easily the best dog in the Animal Crossing series. For eagles, I almost picked Apollo, but then I remembered that the glory that is Sterling existed, and honestly, how could I? Tia is the best elephant by a wide margin. I mean, she's literally a teacup, or pot rather, and her name is Tia, and her design is great too. I swear, Animal Crossing needs more themed characters like this because they're almost always successes. Similarly to eagles, I almost picked Ribbot for the best frog award, but I forgot there's already a character on this list that does the whole gimmick better in my opinion. And I was also reminded of Jeremiah's existence, and how could anyone not choose him? Goats are another species I'm not personally a huge fan of. I chose Kid because he has the best design out of all of them. Pee-wee the gorilla is one of the funniest looking Animal Crossing characters ever, but like, in the best possible way. Seeing him always puts a smile on my face, and that's why I felt like he needed to be in this video. Out of the two species added in New Leaf, hamsters were easily my favorite. They're so small and pudgy, and Clay is the best out of all of them, I don't make the rules. I feel like Rocco is my favorite hippo purely from nostalgia since he was one of my first New Leaf animals, but whatever, I'm sticking with him. It's not often that you see an Animal Crossing character as dark as Roscoe, the horse, and that's why I like him. And I don't mean dark like scary or something, that award would go to Coco. I literally mean dark, like you'd struggle to see him at night dark. And that makes him pretty different from the rest of the bright and colorful Animal Crossing cast. There's nothing special about Carrie, just like the rest of her species. Alice the koala was my first friend in New Leaf, so I can admit that a lot of my love for her comes from a place of nostalgia, but I also kinda like her design. Whether that comes from nostalgia too, I'm simply not sure. Elvis has always felt like the king of his species, probably due to his shirt and the fact that he's a lion, so it's probably no surprise that he's in this video. Nana looks like one of the most helpful and friendly people you'd ever meet. Gotta give points for the friendliness factor. Yeah, as if I wouldn't choose the mouse named Cheddar. I'm not usually a fan of Animal Crossing designs that heavily push a single color that much, but Marina is so incredibly pink that it's kinda hard not to love her. Sprocket the Ostrich is the character I was referring to, who's just Ribots but better. The use of green for the metal instead of the regular silver makes him much more visually appealing, at least to me. Hugh the Pig's got that friendliness factor I was talking about before. Look at his face. Appreciate it. Bunny the Rabbit is another animal who would be considered a basic choice by many, but I just find her character design really appealing to the eye. She was also in quite a few of my towns, so that doesn't hurt her chances of being chosen. There are two types of people in this world, those who love Pietro and those who hate him. If you're the former, you have my respect. If you're the latter, leave this video and channel immediately. Just kidding, please don't do that. Rowan the Tiger is a pretty basic looking animal, but I find that appealing in this case. Beauty and simplicity and whatnot. Sky is miles above her fellow wolves just in terms of design alone. Super creative looking. And that's about it. At least for the regular animals. You may have noticed that there were a few species that weren't brought up yet, and that's for a very good reason. These three animals are my favorites of all time, and it only feels right to talk about them separately from everyone else. First, we have Iggly the penguin. Everything about Iggly is just glorious, and you can't convince me otherwise. He's such a jolly looking soul, and as you can tell, he has a lot of muscle from all the intense workouts he's been put through. Next, we have Static the squirrel. Static's design is just really cool. Like, he's just a cool looking guy. And New Horizons added this awesome jacket into the mix, which just accentuates his coolness tenfold. And finally, we have the best Animal Crossing character of all time, or at least villager that you can have move into your town, Molly the duck. You cannot find me a better villager than this. She's the most adorable Animal Crossing character to ever exist, and should be made the face of our planet. There are no faults here, just perfection. But anyways guys, that's about it for this video. Thanks for letting me be a bit sillier than I usually am. It allowed me to have a lot more fun with this upload, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Let me know in the comments who your favorite animals are, and why I'm objectively wrong in every section. I'll see you guys next time. Professor Pro, out.